Unfortunately, the mainstream media seems to be a bit quiet at the moment regarding it. Like, there were a few stories by Channel 7 and Channel 9 recently, one about Anons, and another one about the protests, which, if many people didn't know, I think it's Jamie Packer, Kerry's son, is actually a Scientologist, and because he owns part of NBC...
The richest Scientologist. He's got, like, $3.5 billion worth of money.
Yeah, he owns NBC, which owns Channel 9, and so the Channel 9 ones have been a bit lacking in content for that. I mean, obviously, we don't think he's directly influencing it, but they're probably thinking, hey, this is probably not a good thing to be showing.
Yeah, I've heard some stuff about Anonymous using a lot of hacking to get their material posted online. What can you guys tell me about that?
Originally, the group Anonymous, it was this group from the internet who would...
they leverage the amount of people they have involved. Like, Anonymous was mostly from 4chan and a couple of other sites like Something Awful and that sort of thing. And those sites have a huge reading. Like, there's a lot of people who read it, a lot of people who agree with the content on there. There was originally a campaign to bring down the Scientology website just by viewing it, like getting a lot of people to view the website.
We took down a lot of the Scientology websites, but then as we went along, we realized that just attacking the websites, we're not going to have that much of an effect, because we can take down a website, but it's going to come right back up.
Yeah, and at that point, Mark Bunker from the States, who...
The Wise Beard Man.
Yes, the Anonymous movement likes to call him the Wise Beard Man because he has a very big beard.
He's wise.
That too. But basically, he came along and said, hey guys, attacking their website, it's kind of getting rid of their opinion, and as much as it would be good to get their opinion out of the way, it's good to see how far their opinion goes and how far out it is. So from that, Anonymous kind of evolved into this movement, and within 26 days of the Tom Cruise video disappearing, we had our first protest on February 10th, and that was very well attended. We had over 9,000 people. And this was the first event. The second event got up over 15,000.
I think it was about 10,000.
Oh, 10,000.
11,000 around the world.
Yeah, exactly. And it's growing every day.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people have been, have experienced this. And, there's a lot of public awareness. There's just a lot of fear in involving themselves in this sort of thing. Yep. And to be honest, it's, I can understand that. To be honest, I'm afraid when I go down to the protests, I have to put on a mask. I have to change my clothes. To be honest, that's not something that you should have to do if you're speaking your mind.
But so, as you mentioned, you're saying that the main goal of Anonymous is to raise awareness about Scientology. How effective do you think your methods are at achieving this?
Well, most recently, when we were down at the Dianetics book selling, we actually had quite a few people come up to us and were actually cheering us on. A lot of people who were aware of the basics of it, but not exactly what the other side of the story was.
A lot of people know the basics of Scientology, know that it's like Tom Cruise and all these other celebrities are in Scientology. But most people don't know that you have to pay a lot of money to do it. Scientology attacks their critics, and the Xenu story, which is about once you get to operating Satan level 3,
which is the Wall of Fire, as they call it.
All right.
The Scientologists will tell you that 75 million years ago, the galactic overlord Xenu pretty much blew up all these aliens on Earth using nuclear bombs, and then their souls inhabit everyone's body, and that's why everyone has negative feelings and bad things happen to them.
How do you guys know this if you need to pay that amount of money to get to that level?
Well, there's actually members who've left the church who actually released it. When I mentioned Graham Berry earlier, the OT3 story actually came out because of Graham Berry. Part of his case was with a guy called Lawrence Fishman, and he actually, in his affidavit, put the entire OT3 story. And so, because it was in an affidavit, it's now public domain, so everyone can actually read it. And so that's one of the ways we know it. There's a lot of people leaving the church these days who bring out extremely strange stories about what's happening there. I mean, obviously, a lot of it is taken with a grain of salt, as you would take from anyone who's been involved with a group like this.
The main thing is that you have to corroborate stories. So we're not just going off the word of one or two.
Yeah.
Everyone who's come out of the church has said, the Xenu story is real, fair game is real, I've spent lots of money.
Yeah, probably the one of the best things to watch recently with regards to this is Jason Begay, who was effectively the second poster child of Scientology for many years. To be honest, I can't remember what he was involved in, but he's one of those people you see his face and you know you've seen him in many, many movies.
He was in a couple of TV shows, and he does like voiceovers for trailers.
Yep. He actually came out and said, I was involved, I got up to OT5, and it's not good. And he confirmed the Xenu story, he confirmed all these other these other stories that had come out of the church that, we couldn't really corroborate, and so we thought it was a bit tinfoily. Yep. But when he came out and said that was, to be honest, it was a bit surprising. It's like an hour-long interview with Mark Bunker, and he goes through a lot of the stuff that's come out and confirms it.
The interview's up on YouTube. Just search for Jason Begay, and it's there.
That's about all we have time for today. But one last question: as members of Anonymous, are there any obligations you guys are expected to fulfil, or?
Pretty much keep it non-violent.
Yep. Keep it about the actual organisation and not the religion.
Keep it about the organisation, the church, not about the religion. We don't care about the religion. You can believe in whatever you like. We're about the church, and we're trying to keep it that way.
Yeah. It's definitely about non-violence. It's about spreading the word peacefully, not illegally, obviously, because, to be honest, it gives them more ammunition to use against us, and that's a bit silly. We're non-violent.
And you guys have a day of action coming up on May 10, I believe.
Exactly.
Can you just give me a quick rundown of what's going to be happening there?
Yeah, sure. May 10 is basically, we're naming it Fair Game Stop. Some people have probably heard the other name for it, which is called Battletoad Earth, which is just to keep the...
it's an old internet joke.
Yeah, because we're from the internet. And basically, what it will be is a showcasing of the Fair Game policy and what we're against for it. Basically, we invite anyone who's interested in finding out to come and have a look. We have a website which we run, which is called brisanon.org, and on that website we'll have details on how to attend. We suggest if people are going to come protest that you don't come alone, come with a group, wear a mask. Otherwise, we don't want innocent people getting in trouble for this. We don't want them getting followed. We have had a couple of members of Anonymous in Brisbane followed and had their mail stolen and so forth.
Bring a friend, bring a mask, and bring
a fun attitude.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for talking to me today, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rick and Tom from the Brisbane arm of Anonymous.